It's 2 a.m. You're exhausted after what feels like an endless cycle of feeding, rocking, and soothing. Your baby is finally calm. You carefully place them in their crib, hoping they'll drift off to sleep. But instead of closing their eyes, they stare. Not at you, not at their favorite toy, not even at the mobile hanging above them. They're staring at the light, completely focused, completely still, almost as if the rest of the room doesn't exist. If you've ever seen your baby do this, you're not alone. And despite how strange it looks, it's not random. In fact, that simple moment may be one of the most important things your baby's brain is doing during the first months of life. To understand why babies love light so much, we first need to understand something surprising. Your baby doesn't see the world the way you do. When you walk into a room, your brain instantly recognizes faces, objects, colors, distance, and movement. A newborn can't do that yet. Their visual system is still under construction. During the first few weeks of life, babies can focus best on things that are only about 8 to 12 inches away from their face. That's roughly the distance between your face and theirs during feeding. Everything beyond that becomes blurry. Imagine trying to understand the world while looking through a foggy window. That's much closer to your baby's experience. Now imagine that blurry world suddenly contains one bright, glowing object. A ceiling light, a lamp, sunlight shining through a curtain. That bright object instantly stands out from everything else around it. To your baby, it may be one of the clearest things in the entire room, and that's why their attention locks onto it. But here's where things get really interesting. Your baby isn't simply looking at the light. Their brain is learning from it. Every visual experience helps build connections inside the developing brain. At birth, babies already have billions of neurons, but many of the connections between those neurons still need to be strengthened through experience. Think of it like building roads. The more often a road is used, the stronger and faster it becomes. The same thing happens inside your baby's brain. Every time they focus on an object, track movement, or notice contrast, important neural pathways become stronger. That's why staring at lights isn't passive, it's practice. Practice for attention, practice for visual processing, practice for understanding the world. In a way, your baby is doing mental exercise without moving a muscle. So why lights? Why not a colorful toy? Why not your face? There are a few reasons. The first is contrast. Young babies are naturally attracted to high-contrast objects. A bright light against a darker background creates one of the strongest contrasts possible. It's easy to notice, easy to focus on, easy to study. The second reason is movement. Sometimes it's not the light itself that's interesting. It's the tiny changes around it. A ceiling fan rotating, curtains moving in the breeze, shadows shifting across the wall. Human brains are naturally wired to pay attention to movement. Even newborns respond to it. Movement signals that something is happening, and the brain wants to investigate. The third reason is predictability. The world can be overwhelming for a baby. Every day introduces new sounds, new faces, and new experiences. A light is different. It stays in the same place. It behaves the same way. For a developing brain surrounded by uncertainty, that consistency can feel comforting. And that brings us to something many parents never consider. Sometimes babies stare at lights because it helps them feel calm. Adults do similar things. Some people watch waves rolling onto a beach. Others stare into a fireplace. Some enjoy watching rain hit a window. Repetitive and predictable visual patterns can be soothing. For babies, a steady light may provide the same effect. It's simple, it's familiar, and it gives their brain something stable to focus on. Now let's talk about the question many parents are really asking. Should I be worried? Most of the time, no. Staring at lights is a completely normal behavior during infancy. The important question isn't whether your baby looks at lights. The important question is what else they look at. A healthy developing baby should gradually become interested in other things too. Faces, voices, expressions, movement, people. As babies grow, social interaction becomes more rewarding than simple visual objects. Around 6 to 8 weeks, many babies begin paying more attention to faces. By around 4 months, lights should be just one of many things that attract their interest. That's because human beings are social learners. Eventually, your smile becomes more interesting than a lamp. Your voice becomes more interesting than a shadow. And your face becomes the most fascinating thing in the room. That's exactly what we want to see. However, if a baby consistently ignores faces, avoids eye contact, doesn't respond to familiar voices, and spends most of their time focused only on objects, it's worth discussing with a pediatrician. Not because staring at lights is dangerous, but because development is always about the bigger picture. One behavior rarely tells the whole story. Patterns matter more. So don't panic. Observe. Watch how your baby's interests change over time. Those changes often tell us much more than any single moment ever could. Here's something simple you can do. The next time your baby stares at a light, don't immediately redirect them. Join them. Look at the light too. Then look back at your baby. Say something simple like, "That's the light." This helps build something called joint attention. It's one of the foundations of communication and social learning. You can also provide other interesting visual experiences, black and white books, high contrast patterns, simple moving objects. These activities support visual development while giving your baby's brain new things to explore. So the next time you find your baby staring at a ceiling light at 2 o'clock in the morning, remember this: they're not zoning out, they're not confused, and they're definitely not doing nothing. They're building connections, learning contrast, practicing focus, and slowly turning a blurry, unfamiliar world into something they can understand, one glance at a time. If this video helped you understand your baby's mind a little better, consider subscribing to Quiet Living with Nour, because sometimes the smallest behaviors reveal the biggest stories. Not professional advice. Consult a qualified expert as needed.